I'm the FanFic Critic. I read it. You listen. What? Why are you guys staring at me like that? Guys, it's the middle of summer. I am dying in that stupid suit. So I'm just going to wear the t-shirt. Sue me. Please do. I don't really care. Today's fanfic, getting back on subject, is part of a series most famously known as the Oscarfics. A ton of fanfics written by some guy called Oscar, alias Artemis' lover. His name is just Oscar. I got this request from someone. They requested a whole bunch of Oscar fics, but I'm just going to take a look at one, seeing a lot of these fics all combined are way too long to do an entire episode on. I'll provide the links to the Mystery Science Theater 6.7 website, where all the fics MSTing can be found on, and I'll also provide the link to the original fanfic, which is, surprisingly, being sarcastic by the way, on www.tuxedojack.com, which is the same website that hosted the ever so memorable Chibiusa's 7th birthday. So, let's not waste any time. Artemis' Lover by Oscar alias Artemis' Lover. Email OscarAlfonso@hotmail.com. Author notes. Shouldn't say author's note. Hi, I'm Oscar. I'm 13 years old, and this is my little white companion, Artemis. Oh yes, I can tell by looking at this first sentence that this fanfic is going to be a masterpiece when it comes to the grammar category. In case you didn't notice, I was being sarcastic. Let's continue. Anyway, Artemis and I, is it really that hard to capitalize the I and I? Are much more than just a master and a pet. I didn't know that a master was a word. Don't you mean a master? It's more like a human-cat relation, 'cause when I'm home alone, well, I, him, we, well, get on with it! Have sex. Actually, we just masturbate each other. Oh my god. No, 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 I don't know! Why are there people that want to fuck animals? First it was Hamo Hamster. Then it was Sin Dragon. Now it's that guy on YouTube called Dogs Need Pleasure Too, who actually posts his fuck videos on the internet. Why? Where do you guys keep on coming from? Why do I have to keep on reading stories like this? Ugh. Ugh. Well, maybe the fanfic won't be about, that. Maybe it'll be about Artemis and Luna getting together in Sailor Moon. Maybe that's what it'll be about. Maybe. 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 I need a drink of happy juice. What? It's either I drink that or I kill myself. And with how Susan's been lately, I don't think I want to kill myself, because something tells me I'm in for a very scary thing when I come back to life. So let's continue to read. But it's amazing. It's like this cat can talk. He comes every night to my bedroom door and starts meowing until I let him in. And when he does, he starts meowing a little softer and purrs, shall we say, erotically, until I get with him on the bed and goes down my crotch trying to shred my underwear. Unbelievable, but true. That's why I call him Artemis. The last I checked, Artemis has nothing to do with sex, but whatever. Intro. Hi, I'm Oscar, and I'm Artemis, Minako's ex-white cat. We are here to tell you how we met, how we fell in love with each other, and how we lost our virginity. Oscar's a hermaphrodite, i.e. a boy that has a dick and pussy with clit and everything at the same time. Imagine that. Hey, shut the fuck up, Artemis. Oops, sorry, Oscar. Well, never mind, Artemis. So, let's get on with the show. I want you guys to take a minute to look at that atrocious layout. Can you guys tell me what's wrong with it? Oh, there's many things wrong with it. One thing you guys probably noted is that it's center aligned. In fact, the entire story is center aligned. I think this was an ongoing problem with Chibiusa's 7th birthday as well, so maybe that's just the website. Maybe I'll let it slide on that. But did you notice the other issues? I'm sure you did. Too many commas and too many punctuation marks. I mean, you have periods after commas, commas after period, no spacing between punctuation and letters. It's a jumbled mess. Is it really that hard to proofread your work before you post it on the internet? Is it? Apparently. Let's continue. Artemis's lover. Wow, we're finally getting into the actual story. The day was unusually fresh for being June 2/97, June 2nd, 1997. Okay, if you're going to use... Why do you have the word June and then like the number abbreviations for the years? Just have it say 6/2/97. Duh! Oscar was walking on a lonely street only with a Sprite bottle and a WWF magazine. His tots. Don't you mean his thoughts? That's not even a word! Do people, like, not use Microsoft Word when they're writing fanfics? And if they do they completely ignore the little squiggly green lines and the little squiggly red lines? Probably. They probably just think it's there for decoration and it's not there to actually point out your mistakes. Let's read that again correctly. His thoughts were racing on why he was so depressed, with an ED at the end, please and thank you. He had always spied on the Sailor Scouts ever since Luna caught up with Usagi. Okay, call them Sailor Senshi if you're going to use their Japanese names. Don't call them Sailor Scouts. If you're going to call them Sailor Scouts, use the dub names for them. So use Serena instead of Usagi. But most of all, when Artemis joined the group, he always taught... What is this person? I'm not going to say because I don't want to offend people who actually are retarded by saying that this guy's retarded. Why am I obsessed with that cat? He then, don't you mean then, realized he had a crush on Artemis. Even though, you mean? Even though he was a boy, again, it's though, not toe. He's not a tow truck, so don't say toe. Even though Artemis was a cat, but not an ordinary cat, that is, he then squeezed the bottle so hard it blew up, soaking his shirt, his pants, and his tennis. His tennis? Please tell me that he didn't mean to put down penis. He was upset to know that he was in love with a cat. He knew where Minako lived. Don't you mean where? Her address. You spelled address wrong. Her telephone number. And her P.O. box. He said to himself, I'll do it, but I'll probably hate myself in the morning. He ran to his house. His bedroom. Get rid of the I. And started to write a letter to Artemis, sending it to Minako's place. The next day, Minako checked the mail and gasped when she saw an envelope that read, to Artemis from ... She then yelled, "Artemis!" Artemis, still asleep, yawned and stretched the last bit of sleep from his beautiful little body. And you spelled beautiful wrong, you ding-dong. "What is it, Minako?" he asked, still asleep. "Artemis, you have a letter," said Minako, giving him the envelope. "What?" he gasped. "How can someone know my name and my ability to talk?" he said, shredding open the envelope. Oh, okay, what the fuck is this? First of all, that's not how you spell shredding. It's spelled with 2 D's, not 1. Secondly, why the heck do you have a hyphen in there? Shredding open is not 1 word, it's 2, so have to say shredding open. And 3, why does it say shredding open he envelope? Don't you mean the envelope? Grammar is your best friend. And said to Minako, "Minako-chan, could you leave me alone for a moment?" "Sure," replied Minako, stepping out of the bedroom. Artemis read the letter that said, "Dear Artemis, you don't know who I am, don't know what I am, don't know anything about me, but believe me, I know everything there is to know about you. I liked you since the moment I saw you. No one deserves you but me. Someday, sometime, at the right moment, we'll meet, and I'll have you. Until then, see ya." Artemis gulped hard and shivered, thinking that I would kill him. Minako entered the bedroom and said, "Artemis, is everything all right?" Artemis looked whiter than usual. "Yes, quite fine," and left the room with a sigh. Minako looked for the letter, but he had thrown it to the window. Don't you mean thrown it out the window? "I hope he's all right," Minako said, stepping out into the shower. Artemis knew that he'd better be on a lookout if someone tried to kidnap him. He had the same what? You know, sequence is not really that hard to spell. Just sound it out with your mouth. Sequence. Q-U. Not C-U. Let's continue. The same sequence in his mind. Every second it passed, asking himself things like, who's that person? Is he good or evil? What he'll do to me? Around 9 p.m., Artemis showed up at Minako's house, curled up into a fuzzy ball, and went to sleep. The next day, Artemis woke up to the sound of chirping birds. "Damn birds," he said, waking. He got up before Minako did, so he went for a walk. Unfortunately, Luna caught him. "Hello, Artemis. Why are you so concerned?" Wait. What? "Hello, Artemis. Why are you so concerned?" What? So did he, have a conversation with Luna about what was going on that us, the reader, never saw? Apparently. "Hello, Artemis. Why are you so concerned?" Artemis replied, "Well, Luna, last day, don't you mean yesterday, I received a letter from a secret person." Luna gasped. "What? That's impossible. No one except our sailor scouts know our names and ability to talk." Artemis, still upset, responded, "I know. It told me that. It liked me since it saw me, and that someday I'll meet it." Luna sighed. "Well, let's hope that's not the Negaverse." Artemis looked at Luna and said, "Can't you think of anything that's not the Negaverse?" Frogned. "Please, do tell me what Frogned is. What does it mean? What language is it from? Is it even from this galaxy? Is it even from this universe?" "No, it's not. You want to know why? Because it doesn't exist because it's not a word!" "I think you meant to say frowned. Like this. That's what you meant to say. Frogned." Luna said to herself, in quotation, so Luna said to herself out loud, Luna said to herself, "Poor Artemis, it's not his fault," and just continued her path. Hey, I just noticed something. The layout's now left justified. Wow. Maybe it isn't TuxedoJacks.com that does this. Maybe it's the freaking authors who do not know how to properly typeset something. Anyway, let's continue to read this gracious blob of text because this person does not know how to use the damn enter key. Artemis was too perturbed to notice the 6 cats that were casing him. Casing? Don't you mean chasing? Damn, I hate being such a sexy cat. Then a loud meow filled the air. Artemis turned his back and saw the other cats him. What? Turned his back and saw the other cats him? What do you mean by that exactly? Get the fuck off my back, you bastards. I'm in a really bad mood today, he said as he prepared his claws and teeth to fight. He knew he'll lost. Don't you mean lose? But he couldn't just let those cats kick his butt without a fight. The fight was rough. Those cats began ripping him off, cutting him in the stomach, his arm, his leg, his back, and his ear. In parentheses, ouch from the author. Do not insert your own thoughts into the damn story. Oscar was around that fight. He spelled around wrong, but I'm not even going to bother pointing out these mistakes unless they're really, really stupid. Returning from a baseball game with his bat on the shoulder. Artemis was already badly wounded and bleeding to death. Oscar passed by the alley where Artemis was. Oscar gasped as he instantly recognized Artemis. He took his bat and ran to help him. He hitted 3 cats simultaneously with it. Boom shakalaka. Don't ruin Muppets Treasure Island for me by putting that in there. You're already ruining my childhood enough as it is by writing this garbage. Do not ruin something else of mine that I treasure dearly. Blood spurted out from the cranium of the other cats. He actually broke the head of the one that wounded Artemis. The cats laid around dead as Oscar grabbed Artemis. He huged him tightly, don't you mean hugged, while covering him with his shirt. Artemis saw Oscar and he said weakly, "Who are you?" Then everything went black. Oscar, with tears in his eyes, said to Artemis, "Don't worry, my dear Artemis. You'll be all right. After I rape you." Too soon? Yes, too soon. Let's continue. Artemis woke up to the sound of a door closing. Oscar saw this and said, crying, "Artemis, thank God you're alive." Artemis taught... Okay, yeah. How does he know my name? Artemis just meowed. Oscar, hearing this, and said, "Oh, Artemis, you don't have to pretend with me. It's all right. You can talk." "Who are you?" Artemis asked, still sour from the fight. Sour from the fight. Sour. You fucking idiot! It's sore. It pain, not sour. Well, the person is supposedly 13, but then again, my grammar was a lot better at this. My grammar was a lot better when I was at the age of 13. I just think this person's freaking illiterate. Oscar took a deep breath and said, "Artemis, I'm that guy who sent you that letter." Artemis gasped. "What? So you're the one?" Oscar looked a little scared and said, "Sorry, Artemis, I didn't mean to scare you, but how could I said my feelings to you in person?" What? Artemis coughed. I guess he coughed. You may have a point there. Have it say he sighed. Oscar looked him straight in the eyes and said, "Artemis, I love you. Ever since I saw you, I knew it was our destiny to be together." Artemis got a little embarrassed and said, "I somehow Feel the same for you, Oscar. Of course you do, because that's just so fucking predictable. What is with these stupid, predictable fanfics of love? No, even non-fanfics can do this sometimes. You see someone, you're magically in love with them. It doesn't work like that. For some people it does, but for most of us it doesn't. Most of the time, love will be one-sided. So let's continue. But does it matter that you're human and I'm a cat? Or doesn't it matter that... whatever. Oscar blushed and said, well, Artemis, I have a little secret, you know. Artemis looked him with an evilly smile. What secret? Oscar took another breath and said, Artemis, I'm a hermaphrodite. Artemis went wide-eyed. No kidding. That still wouldn't cure the fact that you're not a cat and that you're a human and that you're a human that wants to fuck a cat. Oscar said no as he started to undress. Artemis was paralyzed as he looked Oscar's dick and below that his pussy. Artemis had a goofy smile on his face. Oscar gasped, Oh, you pervert, and slapped him silly. Me, ouch. Oops, sorry, Artemis. How could I stay mad at you? He then said, now look, Artemis, your wounds will get infected if I don't clean them, okay? Artemis happily said, okay, and so Oscar turned the shower on. Artemis went inside with Oscar and cleaned his soft fur. Artemis enjoyed Oscar's tact, rubbing his fur with a disinfectant soap while purring softly. He didn't like baths very much, but this was with his lover, so how could he resist a bath with his true love? Then they laid in the bed, all stretched out. Okay, when did they go to the bed? 1 minute they're in the shower, the next minute they're in the bed. You have to show these things, not just jump from one point to the other. With Artemis' wounds now closed, well, that was quick. Artemis broke the silence, saying, so, Oscar replied, so what? Artemis said evilly, are you still a virgin? Oscar responded a little embarrassed. Why, yes, in fact, I have been saved myself for you, my love. Artemis said as he hugged, Oscar said as he hugged Artemis and kissed in his lips. In his lips? You see, don't you mean in the mouth? Because lips, there's no inside for lips. These are lips. These right here are lips. This is your mouth. You mean kissing him on the lips or kissing him and entering his tongue through his mouth. And I'm sorry, but cats cannot kiss. They can lick. They cannot kiss. They cannot pucker their lips like this. Artemis eventually opened his mouth, letting Oscar's tongue to play with his. I don't even think a human tongue could really fit inside of a cat's mouth. Cats, you've seen cats, they're small. Their mouths are probably like the most, like this big maybe. And I think their jaw can only open up like this wide. I mean, maybe a little wider, I guess you could. But then you'd probably choke the cat to death if you tried to, and I don't recommend you guys trying that. You sickos if you do. Oscar then went south, caressing all of Artemis's parts along the way with his tongue. So his mouth, is he licking his esophagus and his stomach, or did he remove his tongue from Artemis's mouth and is now licking down his chin and down to that area? He didn't care for his fur. Okay. And he reached his little dick, caressing it with his fingers and licking it as if it was a clit. Oh my god. Artemis moaned silently with his eyes closed, and Oscar continued. Oscar looked the expression on Artemis's face and said, Artemis, you feel good, don't you? Artemis was grabbing the bed with his nails. It was too much for him. Please, don't, stop. Oscar's fingers replaced his tongue, and it went licking its way up to his stomach, his chest, his chin, against his mouth. They locked tongues again, and Oscar's fingers continued to stroke Artemis's dick. They parted tongues. That's it. Oh. Ugh. Artemis said. Oscar again went south, but this time he began licking Artemis's dick like if it was a nipple. Please, don't, do that, Artemis said, feeling a little embarrassed. Oscar, still stroking his dick, said, why not? Don't you feel good? Artemis said, yes, but it's embarrassing, Oscar kept sucking on Artemis's dick as Artemis moaned louder. Suddenly, Artemis climaxed, letting out a part of his load in Oscar's mouth. Artemis saw Oscar's face and noticed the cum. Oh, sorry, Oscar. I just lost control. Oscar looked at him with a smile. It's okay, Artemis. It's good to release it. He giggled and then plunged his finger into Artemis's little hole. Yes! Artemis said as his body was convulsed by the motion of Oscar's finger. Artemis had tears in his eyes. He was enjoying it, but it was painful. Painful. You don't need two L's at the end of painful! Oscar pulled his finger out of Artemis's little hole, and then Artemis said, it's my turn now. Artemis began licking Oscar's big dick and began giving him a blowjob. Big dick. Again, the size of a cat's mouth. And if you compare it to someone who has a big dick, I don't think the dick could fit inside of the mouth. And even if it could, the only thing it would do, it would be only touching the tip. And I would imagine that the cat's teeth would be shredding the dick because cats have sharp teeth. Oscar taught... Okay, for now, that's it. I'm going to read the fanfic in this voice for the rest of the thing. Well, I've never seen such a blowjob this fast. It said, oh yes, you make it good. Artemis smiled as he continued. He then went his down, licking his way to Oscar's inner thighs. Oscar began breathing quicker. Why is the Q quicker in capital? Fuck it, I don't care. As Artemis's tongue got closer to his pink, swollen slit, now damp and wet from his love deuces. Artemis then smiled as he reached his pussy, licking his clit in little circles. His tongue and ting were being soaked by Oscar's love deuces. Oscar started to spasm, and his back arched up to make his firm ass up bed. That did not make any sense, but I don't care. Artemis, with his paws, opened Oscar's pussy lips, and now Artemis' tongue darted in and out of Oscar's love hole. Artemis wanted to plunge into him here and there, but alas, it was too small. He was too small. Too small. Even though he had a big member for a cat, but just like Oscar could read the thoughts of cat, said, don't, worry, Artemis, fuck me, please. He begged. Artemis gladly accepted and thrusted his little dick inside of him, waving it across Oscar's inner walls. Oscar began to sweat like hell, and Artemis, a little frustrated about his eyes, plunged his paws into him. Oscar, feeling this, yelled, yeah, gasping for air as the immense wave of pleasure ripped him. Artemis slowly moved his paws in and out of Oscar's slick love hole, bringing out more pre-cum. As Oscar got more excited, suddenly Oscar began stroking his own cock. Artemis saw this and took his paws out of Oscar's love hole.
Stop calling it a love hole! It's called a fucking vagina!
If you want to be real technical, it's called a vulva. Not a love hole.
Not a love area, it's a fucking vagina!
Artemis then stroked Oscar's dick with his slippery paws, popping Oscar's dip and putting it into his mouth. Oscar started fingering himself. His pussy easily accepted his two first fingers, whatever, and eventually trusted other three. Oscar pulled out a puddle of cum. Ew.
and said to Artemis, "Here, Artemis." Artemis licked the cum out of Oscar's finger. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Retained it in his mouth and went to Oscar's face. Again, they locked tongues. You spelled tongues wrong. Artemis let out the cum from his mouth and into Oscar's mouth. They enjoyed the sweet flavor of the cum in their kiss. Artemis then returned to Oscar's crotch, sucking on Oscar's dick. Oscar continued fingering himself as well as Artemis pumped his dick over Oscar's tight pussy. Artemis then, straightening up his tail, entered the dripping love hole with it. What the hell does dripping mean? Pumping it slowly, making Arthur spasm even more. In one final trush, Artemis pumped out all of the load over Oscar's tight pussy. The feeling of him spraying over his pussy made Oscar go over the edge. He reached his first orgasm. He grabbed the bed desperately as he lost control, as his dick let out a high amount of sperm, making Artemis feel what Oscar felt. His cunt letting a great amount of cum, soaking the bedsheets of his lover's tail, and his cunt seized his fingers in Artemis' pumping tail and moved even more deeply, his fingers making a second orgasm hit him. Artemis teased his clit at the last slave of pleasure run by Oscar's same men body.
By the way, that was all one sentence.
He took out his fingers, enjoying the taste of his first cum. Artemis as well licked his paws. Artemis laid on him, flat on his stomach, tail out of his pussy, and said, "Oh, Oscar, I've never felt so satisfied." Oscar said, exhausted, "Thank you, my love." They laid in the bed about 18 minutes and dozed off to sleep. The next day, Oscar woke up and didn't saw Artemis anywhere. He grew concerned. "Artemis?" He shouted to see if he was around. He looked everywhere, but only found a note that said, "Dear Oscar, I went to Minako's house to talk about what just happened between you and me. I'll be all right. I'll return for about 10 a.m. Love you, Artemis." It was 9:35 a.m. When Artemis returned, Oscar asked him, "So, how did everything went?" Artemis responded, "Well, it was hard to Minako and the others to admit that I was in love with a hermaphrodite."
What about in love with a human? I think that's a little more weird than being in love with a hermaphrodite. Whatever.
But they, at the end, understood, even Luna. Artemis sighed. Oscar said, "Well, I'll protect you in every battle you go with the Sailor Scouts." Artemis looked happy to hear that. "Thank you, Oscar. You're indeed a great person. And boyfriend." Oscar replied, "Right," and they went to the kitchen to eat. The end. For now.
Good riddance! What the fuck did I just read?
No. I know what I read.
I read kitty porn.
Kitty porn.
Kitty porn. Hey, Caddy. Come here, Caddy. Come here, Caddy. Now, Caddy, how did this fanfic make you feel? Do you have sexual attraction towards humans, and do you want to fuck them? Do you even understand a word I'm saying? No. You see, humans and cats are not meant to have sex with each other. You can go now, Caddy. I mean, really, people. Really. Okay, I would like to think this person was, what, 13 when they wrote this? This story was made back in 1997, so they're probably like in their late 20s, early 30s at this point. I would like to think that if they still have these feelings towards cats, that they're keeping it to themselves and that they're trying to forget their embarrassing past, but something tells me that they probably aren't. Seeing I've come across plenty of people who are adults who have fetishes like this. Like I mentioned, that guy on YouTube, Dogs Need Player 2, who has videos of him fucking his dog! But I digress. It's just wrong, but I digress. Let's take a look at the grammatical errors with this story. Like I said before, this person was 13 when they wrote this. So I guess I shouldn't be going too hard on them because they were a kid. But you want to know something? When I was 13, I had much better grammar than this. Hell, the FanFiction Critic, she reviewed one of her own fanfics that she wrote when she was 13, and the grammar in that story was a hell of a lot better than this. You know, there are adults who have... Well, there's adults who have worse grammar than this. But something tells me that this person probably has not improved with their writing style. Maybe they have, I don't know. Maybe they have left the world of fanfiction behind them. Let's hope they have. This was just absolute garbage. If you guys want to go and check out the other Oscarfics on the Mystery Science Theater 6.7 page, go right ahead. But I've had my full share of this. Well, I'm the fanfic critic. I read it, you listen, and I'm going to track down the men in black and see if I can get them to erase my memory of this god-awful fanfic.
Artemis then grabs a stroke. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, hold on. Let's do that again. Okay, let's do that again.